Back in 1994, 30 years ago, I founded Judicial Watch on July 29th. Purpose was to watch judges. I had seen the judges were compromised, frequently outright corrupt. I believe in the legal system. We became like a hamburger helper to bar associations, particularly with regard to federal judges, because federal judges will not hold themselves accountable for anything. If you file an ethics complaint against a federal judge, it goes to other federal judges in the courthouse, and there, by the grace of God, they simply throw it into the trash. I've never seen them act on anything. We have two judicial outrages that are occurring as we speak. First is at the Supreme Court. Judge Katanji Jackson is by all accounts, and I've been in front of her more than once, very intellectually limited. That's the nicest way I could put it. I mean, essentially, she was an affirmative action judge, a DEI judge. Today, in a case involving Tennessee, where Tennessee has outlawed for minors sex change operations, particularly without parental consent, she equated that to the ban on interracial marriage in the South. I mean, are we live in outer space? Do we live in Mars? I mean, everything relates back in today's world from the left. She's obviously a far left jurist, to some kind of racial discrimination. The issue of whether kids should get sex change operations when they're a minor has nothing to do with anyone's race, but they have to bring it into it because that's the way they color, no pun intended, the argument. I also want to talk about what's been going on in Dallas, Texas. There I have a white judge. I'm not going to use his name. Someone who's been sitting on a default judgment for many, many months, if not over a year, when I sued in a class action against China for what happened with COVID-19. I have a client there who had a Photoshop, Buzz Photos, who went out of business because of COVID-19. So we brought a class action against the Communist Chinese for COVID-19. Now we know that the leak came out of the Wuhan lab. We filed various affidavits from experts to testify to that. Even the compromised and corrupt FBI director, Christopher Wray, said that at a hearing. But now there's also a report of the House of Representatives that says the leak came out of the Wuhan lab. Now, how did the leak get there? Of course, Dr. Fauci, the Dr. Mengele of American medicine, gave the seeds of COVID-19 to the Chinese with a grant for almost $2 million during the Obama-Biden regime. That notwithstanding, China is responsible for the damage as well. So we sued them. And it's a bioweapon. That's a bioweapon lab. We do the same thing at Fort Detrick, Maryland. So there's no international immunity here. There's no protection at all. I'm talking in layman's sense right now so everybody can understand. But this judge has been sitting on a default judgment now for over a year when China never even responded to the complaint. Instead, what China did, the Communist Chinese, the Chi-Coms, after they were served, and it took a long time to serve them because they wouldn't accept it initially. We had to go through diplomatic channels at the State Department at great expense. China sends a letter, a diplomatic, I would say, démarche, as you might say in French, to our State Department, Anthony Blinken, that completely worthless hack, Secretary of State, saying, send this over to the Justice Department, and the Americans should know that if we are held accountable, we will retaliate against you. And also he meant me, personally, who brought the case. So this judge apparently is scared to do what he has to do under the rule of law down there in Dallas. And it sits there, and yet now there's new proof, and we'll go back to him and try to jog him into action to get the default judgment going. First, there would be a finding on liability. Then there would be a finding on damage. Damages are huge. They're in the trillions of dollars. Notwithstanding, in the United States, over 10 million people have died at the hands of Anthony Fauci and the other clowns that profess to have some kind of say in what's going on in our government, our so-called government. So, as I always say, this is my message for today. This is why it is so important And today I do what I used to do at Judicial Watch with judges. We need better judges. Larry Klayman and Freedom Watch want to help President Trump nominate and have confirmed better judges, not Republican rhinos, names having been handed to him in the prior Trump administration based upon grease, based upon campaign contributions, based upon kickbacks to the lobbyists that put those names up. I can tell you, and you can get my book, It Takes a Counter-Revolution, Wake Up America, with a contribution of $75 or more. We'll send it to you free of charge. You can also buy it on Amazon and all major booksellers. It's got 5 stars. Never had the reach because it didn't have the advertising. I don't have the luxury of being someone on Fox News that can pump your own book. But this book is highly rated. You have to read it. It tells you just how corrupt our legal system is and what we need to do to fix it. You need to let President Trump know that he should be working with me and Freedom Watch to help streamline, to disinfect our corrupt legal system and to make reforms. Take away immunity from judges, take away immunity from federal officials. There are lots of things that we can be doing that I discuss in that book. So go to freedomwatchusa.org, contribute to our cause with tax-deductible contributions, and we can send you that book. But here's the bottom line. We need your help. And President Trump needs your help and needs my help and needs Freedom Watch's help. He can't do it alone. And when you see idiot judges, leftist, hateful judges that want to raise racial issues with regard to nothing that has anything to do about race, like Katanji Jackson, who got there based on her race, not on her intellect. And there are a lot of really smart Black lawyers and judges that could have gotten there on the merit, but she was chosen for a political reason. She's a woman and she was Black. So that suited Joe Biden. The same reason he chose Kamala Harris, who's also a moron. We've seen that. So this is the situation that we're in today. We need better judges. And this judge in Dallas, this white guy down there, he's as bad as Katanji Jackson. And he's even, in fact, in many ways, even more dishonest in the way he's handled this case. He's afraid of his own skin, that the Chinese will retaliate against him. Well, if he can't take in the heat in the kitchen, he should get the heck out. So please go to freedomwatchusa.org, contribute to our cause with tax-deductible contributions. We need your help. Fundraising's been way down. The Republican rhinos siphoned it away during the last elections. We need to hire more lawyers, more paralegals, file more cases, our citizens' grand juries and citizen trials to hold people like Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and James Biden accountable, which we already have. Now we need to try to enlist law enforcement, frankly, to have them arrested peacefully and legally. But we need your help. We need to clean out the rat's nest in this country. And President Trump can't do it alone. They need our help. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. Remember, the Father and Son will only help us if we help ourselves. Thank you for listening to me. I'll be back tomorrow with another special podcast.